the right to fear me.
I've seen evil. And I'm looking at it now.
I want to know, what is it like playing a character that has been previously played by a different actor? Do you take a lot of their essence, or do you just go, new person, new rules?
A little bit. I did new person, new rules a little bit, but only because we'd gone back in time to the 60s, so it was kind of important to show
It's a different time.
a bit of a change. Otherwise, why do it?
I started off because I thought, well, should I study sort of Ian McKellen? And then I was talking to Matthew Vaughn. He was like, no, you know what? Your accent's kind of strange and weird, so I like it. Let's keep with that. And I said, okay, so we did that in first class, and then Ian McKellen was in the second film with me. So rather than ask him to do my accent, I sort of then tried to do a little bit of his, so it's kind of ended up sort of, hybrid.
Was it like looking in a mirror with these prestigious actors? Is it kind of like, yes, this is what I'm going to grow up to be like? So, Ian McKellen? Did you look wistfully as well?
Knighthood in the offing.
Would you take a knighthood?
That's political.
It is. Let's not get that.
politics
Let's
in
not
here.
get politics selling Dark Phoenix.
Would you?
I did a scene with Patrick where we got to actually look at each other in the eye and go nose to nose, and that was, so I got a real up close thing. He's a very different actor from me and a very different person, but look, if I had to choose somebody to be like, then that'd be a nice one.
Are you sick of shaving your head, by the way?
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I really like
noggin.
it. Thanks very much. So I've been told. I enjoy it. It's low maintenance and surprisingly doesn't displease me when I look in the mirror.
Also, easier to put the helmet on, no hat hair.
He doesn't have
Yeah, that helmet.
the helmet.
Though,
you
that
have
helmet's an effing
Cerebro.
nightmare, though. That's never been comfortable. Now, Patrick says that his Cerebro, his helmet, was way more comfortable than my helmet. I don't know if mine's was just larger and heavier, but mine's really had a ridge on it that dug in real bad.
Yeah. Plus, you've got a
Especially-
couple of electric shocks.
And I got electrically shocked a few times, yeah.
But that method acting, though, where
he
it's
was
not
like,
a
hook me up.
comfortable
No,
thing.
plug it in. Plug it in.
Are you a scared little girl who answers to a man in a chair? Or are you the most powerful creature on the planet?
Did you lean into anyone else's superhero experience and adopt it as your own, or were you just like, nah, let's go fresh?
Oh, I just went in fresh. I was like, hey guys, what have you been doing for the last 20 years? I was just kind of hanging out, and I didn't show up as the expert in special effects. The expert.
Is it that or that?
That's Wakanda Forever.
Well, I've been doing this the whole time.
Well, that's okay, because
Maybe it means
Wakanda
that
Forever
we'll
is-
be in Black Panther next.
Segue, next question. If you could team up with anyone else in the MCU, who would it be and why?
Oh,
Brother Hammer.
Brother Hammer. Thor. Anyone would go Thor.
I also want to know, do you have favorites? Do you have other characters in the X-Men that you are a huge fan of and you're like, ooh, if I could have a day acting as their...
The problem is, if you're a fan of them, you don't want to see anyone else play that character.
Yeah, it's so true. But I really love Magneto.
So you want to play Magneto?
No, but I love him.
The girl dies.
If you got your own movie focusing on your character, pitch me, what would it be about?
I would love to do like a thing where like me and Hallie team up and fight a baddie, like past and future have to come together, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like we save the world, me and Hallie.
Have you seen her in John Wick 3 as well?
I haven't seen John Wick 3 yet.
great.
It just came out. I have to see it. Ugh, she's fabulous in everything.
What's your Cyclops story?
I want
What's
to
your
hear
Quicksilver
your
story?
pitch.
Me and Dad getting together and going after the good
who your
guys.
dad is, though.
Yeah.
But me and Magneto.
Starsky
We
and
join a
Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch.
I would
Thelma and Louise.
go see that movie.
Vice.
Starsky and
Miami Vice.
Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch.
I would watch that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would want handlebar mustaches.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Cyclops story?
I think it would be you'd just be alone in a cabin and there would be no dialogue for the entire film. And then all of a sudden, like every superhero movie, there'd be a big battle at the end.
Like
That
The
sounds
Revenant
great.
almost? Just
It's
you
like The Revenant,
alone.
but with Cyclops.
What if you had your goggles off just a whole movie? Like, and your lasers were just,
Right.
walking around.
Just
the whole
like
time.
totally accepted the fact that you're just going to destroy it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like everyone around you's like, hey buddy, what's up? Like, oh.
So it's like a Matrix movie and it's not even supposed to be? Sweet.
The most
Okay.
expensive movie ever.
Oh my god.
What tough love would you give your character? But also, flip side, what do you love the most about your character?
I don't know. I like the loyalty.
Yeah.
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 The character that I play. And then, I don't know, sometimes he takes it a little too
To a
far.
fault?
Yeah, to where it becomes faulty. But,
Would you say Cyclops is a
needy.
Pisces? Because, like, I'm
you
getting
know,
strong
I'd
Pisces
have to ask
vibes.
my mom about that. I don't know enough about
What's a
it.
I'd say
Pisces
he's a
is-
Scorpio. Pisces rising, and maybe his moon is in Sagittarius.
For sure.
Yeah, you can see
Wow.
it.
So what about with Storm? What do you love the most about her and what does she need a little tough love over?
I love Storm and how like silent, strong she is, but I would like for her to allow herself to be a little bit more opinionated. You know, I don't think she says it out loud. She just kind of like does it with her eyes, and I'm like, just say it. You know, just be real. Because I think that she would also be sassy. I think Storm would be so sassy.
What's her birth sign?
Storm's a Cancer. 100%. Virgo rising. Her moon's in Gemini.
What do you love most about Quicksilver and what tough love do you need to give him?
Well, I like that he's really fast, and then tough love. I think he needs to
Slow down.
really slow down. I think he should talk to his dad. I think.
Yeah.
You should tell him. You should be like, "Hey, I'm your son."
You're my family, James. No matter what.
Dark Phoenix, is this something that you were like, come on, let's bring it back?
Yes. When I was a kid reading comics, and I was a kid that read a lot of comics, Dark Phoenix was my favorite storyline in all the comics. So it was my dream. And it wasn't even a dream to actually make it as a movie. I never even thought it'd be a movie. But once I got into making X-Men movies, it was my dream to tell this story and to tell it right. We told a version of it in X-Men The Last Stand, but it was really a background story in that, and we didn't really focus on Jean. Yeah. And in this one, I really wanted to explore what Chris Claremont and the original guys who wrote and created Dark Phoenix in the comics, I wanted to explore this idea of the most powerful person in the world who can't control their power.
And that's what's exciting about X-Men is how powerful just to have riveting, scary, relentless power.
Yeah, I mean, that was what was exciting to me, was this notion that in all of the X-Men movies, you know, they're very powerful characters, but this is the movie where one of the X-Men becomes more powerful than anybody or anything else, not just on Earth, but in the galaxy. And while that would seem like a positive thing, when you can't control it, it's a wildly destructive and negative thing. And that polarity of like the enjoying that incredible burst of power, but also being terrified by it, was always what was so compelling to me about the Dark Phoenix story, and it was trying to bring to screen in this. And so Sophie is, you know, this amazing actress who has incredible strength, but also can play incredible vulnerability and fragility. And the character needs to be able to play both, because she's kind of the hero and the villain of this movie. So yeah, what was fun to me was that after having made a lot of X-Men movies as a writer and a producer, and now I get to do as a director, to have the most powerful X-Men / X-Woman we've ever had on screen.
What was it like taking the leap going into directing?
You know, I've always wanted to direct, and I will say that it was a really natural, organic transition. As a writer-producer on these movies, I've done a lot of directorial type work. I work closely with the actors. I've become very close with these actors. I've studied filmmakers, having been on the sets of not just these films, but the film, I've worked with Ridley Scott, Ken Branagh on a couple films, Jim Mangold, some of the great filmmakers of our time. And so I've really studied them and watched them. And with these X-Men movies, I've really been inside the process. So the transition, because I felt so supported by this cast, and it was the cast that really, at the end of Apocalypse, came to me and said they really wanted me to direct the next movie. Jen Lawrence specifically was, I will give her credit and or blame for really forcing me to take the leap. She said, I'm not coming back to do another one of these X-Men movies unless you direct it. And so I said, okay, well, that's a good deal.
What's that like? Because obviously, like, we've grown up with Jennifer Lawrence being Mystique / Raven. What is that like, sort of like closing that chapter?
Yeah. Part of what's so fascinating about having worked with Jennifer on these X-Men movies is that, you know, when we cast Jennifer in X-Men First Class, she was a completely unknown child. I mean, she was 17 years old or something like that. And I've tried as the writer to bring that kind of complexity and evolution and sophistication to the character as well, and have the character play all of the sort of emotional range that I know Jennifer is capable of, and I know that Jennifer experiences in real life as well. So in this movie, this movie in many ways, when I conceived it from the beginning, it was sort of the culmination of all of these X-Men movies, and certainly of this cycle of X-Men movies for this family that started as strangers and came together as a family, and they're sort of torn apart in this film. And so I felt as though, without giving too much away, that Jen's character needed to be part of that real culmination and the center of that culmination, because her mystique is central to so many characters. I mean, she's not ever been the hero or the protagonist of any of these movies, but she's so pivotal in these movies because she has a relationship with Magneto, with Beast, with Xavier, with the X-Men themselves. She really is the center of so many, the fulcrum of so many relationships. So I wanted to really explore that in this film.